Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to build a Lego MINDSTORMS model in Studio or Stud.io, whatever you want to pronounce it. Stud.io is a really powerful program, but it's got some complexities in here. So I hope that by watching me build this MINDSTORMS model, you will learn how to circumvent them and build in a fast and powerful way. The robot we're going to be building is going to be the Robot Remix 6 model. It's made out of two sets, so let's start by importing these two sets. To import them, you don't do add palette, but you choose config. It's one of these first weird things. So let's go to config. Let's choose a way to add a new palette, and we're going to import an official Lego set. Since the Robot Remix is built out of two sets, we're going to start out by first importing the most modern set, which is the 42080 Forest Machine, and we're going to import it not in scene but as a palette. Okay, let's go ahead and import it. Some parts failed to import, like the hoses and the pneumatic switch and the sticker set, but we don't need them, so it's okay. Next, we're going to import the official MINDSTORMS set, so let's go to config again, add a way, import an official Lego set, go 313131, which is the code for the MINDSTORMS EV3. Let's import it. It also gives us some errors. And these are words because somehow it's not able to import the motors. So we're going to have to find a way around that. I'll show you how. So let's go OK for now. And now we go to the master palette and we go to EV3. And there they are, the parts that we need. Now we're going to add those parts to the 3131 palette by clicking on them with the right mouse button, and then we can select the palettes that we want. So let's add them to our MINDSTORMS set. So our MINDSTORMS palette becomes complete. There is no gyro sensor in the base set. There is a color sensor. Let's add it. There is a medium motor and there is a large motor. And of course there is the brain and the remote control, okay, which we're not going to use in our building instructions much anyway. Good. Now let's start with the lizard. Let's start with the most complex part of the lizard, which is actually the leg. Let me figure. I've got the model here before me. Let me figure out a good place to start, because it's smart that when you start modeling, you keep in mind the steps that builders will be following, so that you want to take into account every move that builders will have to make. Okay, let's start with a large EV3 motor. Motors are very good objects to start building around, because from the start we want to think about the steps that people want to take, and because when we've done inputting the model in Studio, the building instructions are going to be in the same order, or they are easiest to make if we keep them in the same order. I put this motor in the wrong direction, so let's put it like this. Okay, next we're going to add some pins to the motor, which is all going to be part of step 1. So I type there pin, and I get a selection of all of the pins. We need the simple black pin, so let's stick the motor full of pins. Next, we're moving to the other palette, and we will be wanting to add the large 15 stud lift arms. this might be a nice moment to add another step. So I go add step. In the future, I will be pressing Ctrl T to add more steps. For now, I'll just show it around, and I want the arm to be here and there. Okay. Next, I want an axle put through the... Oh, probably it's better if we add the axle already in the first step. It will be easier to build. So let's go back to the first step here, select it, and I want a 7 stud X, so I type X7 and grab a 7 stud X here. And as you can see, because I selected step 1 again, it will be added it to step 1. Now let's go back to step 2. We're going to be adding some blue pins. So they are going to be pin 3. They are 3 long blue pins. And I want the pins to be here. Not the other way around. Like so, like so, like so, like so. And now is again a good time to add another step. Next, we're going to be adding... let's see, what's a good thing to do? Yeah. So let's clear the search field. Yes. They are axle and pin connector perpendicular. Put them like this. We need 4 of them, or even 8 of them. There we go. Then we're going to be adding the axle connector. I see that I put the yellow X a little too far out, so let's drag it in so it all fits. This is better. And let's clone one to the other side too. Okay. Somehow it's distributed my 2 axle connectors over separate steps. I want them all in the same... Oh, that's good. It's getting a lot. It's becoming a large step. So let's put all of this into step 3. Good. For the next step, we will be adding more black pegs. There we go. Use the clone tool or press C. We don't want this one, but we want the peg, and I want them leave one space there, 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 there. Okay. Then I need a part from the MINDSTORMS set again, and it's going to be this one, there, and there. There we go. Anything else that's nice to do for now? Let me see. Yeah. I should have added a blue cross over here, and now it's going to be hard for builders to add it, so let's go back to, I guess, this step. Step 2, and add the blue crosses. So pin change it. Now you see it's adding it to step 2, which is nice, which is exactly what we wanted. And let's expand a little on this step too. We're going to move them a step. Move them a step because I prefer not to have more than 10 parts per step. Those make the building instructions hard to follow. And let's add a twisted axle and pin connector like here. Okay, it doesn't do it like this, so let's rotate. This still doesn't snap. It seems that we have a bit of a problem here. Let's see if turning on isometric view helps. It still doesn't snap. Okay. That's a bummer. Let's drag this one out of the way. This should be the same level. Still nothing. Okay, here it fits. Now, we are at least at the right altitude, so now we will use the manual placement to drag it over to the side, because somehow this part is not snapping. And as you can see, I just positioned it visually. I was sure of the height and the depth, and I just dragged it in one direction, and now it's about right. So let's drag this one back into place now. Okay. Oops, I see I've made a mistake here, which is not so bad, but still has to be corrected. What we want is a different part in this area. So what we're going to do is now delete this, delete that, and scroll back to step 2. We can turn on step view and go to step 2, which hides all the other steps. And in this step where we added the large beams called lift arm in this program and the loose studs, we also want to add some black pins, these. Okay. So now in the next step, we don't want 8 of these, but we want from the new set these kind of parts. What happens now is that they cannot rotate around the blue pin anymore, which makes it easier to insert an axle from this side, which is what we're going to be doing shortly. Okay, now the next step looks fine, this step looks fine, and right now I think it's going to be time to turn around the assembly. So let's add a step just to get started. Turn around the assembly. For this I'm using my right mouse button. When building MINDSTORMS model, I don't really like to see the floor here, so I'm going to try and hide the ground. Okay, it's in the view menu here. Okay, hiding the ground now. Next, I think it's time for a blue pin. Yes, it is. So I could look it up here, but since I've already used blue pins, I'm going to be pressing the C key for the clone tool and clone one from here, rotate it in place, and there we go. Okay. The next part is going to be a bit of a sub-assembly. So we're going to build it right now. It's going to look weird, but then later we'll group it into a sub-assembly, which will make it easier for the builder. So let's start with an arm. And an additional advantage is that we only have to build it once, and then we can just copy it and rotate it in place at the other side. Oh, that's not the arm we want. We want a regular 5-stud or 5-hole black lift arm. And this is the place where it goes. Oh, let's put those in step. Okay. Now let's clone it, because we will need more blue studs. Next we're going to go to the wood cutting machine again and choose a green L-shaped arm. No, not that fast, because we still have to add, oh, I don't know if they're in here. Let's go to the MINDSTORMS palette again. We need to add this kind of part. That was not so nice. I need one here. And I need another one here. And next I need a black peg in there. Okay, so here we will have our first sub-assembly. It's impossible in reality to add the peg in that location afterwards. Just changing my view here. I'm using the right mouse button to rotate and the middle mouse button to drag. Now, so what we're going to do here is make these parts, let's turn off step view, is turn these parts into a submodel, create into submodel. Yeah, I don't usually name my submodels. And then, so now in the building instructions, people will be instructed to put together 2 gray bricks with a black peg before assembling them into the green lift arm. Okay. Next, I think we can add a new step and clone the lift arm again, like so. Okay, while building I discovered that I could improve the model a little, so to make building easier, and what we're going to do is remove this one again. Like so. And build it a little differently. We're going to be adding pins, one black one, one axle pin. So this one. Here, and a black one can just clone it from here. Okay, now we're going to add a step. We're going to add a 3 long lift arm and a twisted pin axle connector. There we go, that's the one we need. Okay, normally I would have inserted a blue 3 long pin here, but while building the model I run out of blue pins, so a black pin it is. Well, you know what? Let's see if we can save on pins later on and replace this one by a blue one. It will make the building easier. There we go. And as a last step, let's add another lift arm like so. Now this bit you'd never be able to assemble it in that location in reality, so we're going to turn it into a submodel that you can assemble separately and then snap it into place over this blue peg. So let's create this one into a submodel, and I will give this one a name because I'll reuse it, call it upper leg. Okay, and in step 7 we will be adding an upper leg and fixing it with a 6 long X like so. And in step 8 we're going to do the same, so let's clone the complete upper leg, rotate it 2 steps and put it in place there, and also fix everything in place with a black X. There we go. Next, let's connect everything to the turntable. So let's grab our turntables. We want a large one. And we want the black part on top. And we will be, let's see if it already snaps where I want it to. Nope, it doesn't. So let's make a little sub-assembly here. Oh, I forgot to add a step. Let's drag it to my new step. Take the other part of the turntable, drag it in place. Yeah, and why not make a sub-assembly here? So people know to assemble the turntable. And oh yeah, we're gonna go into that submodel because we want this part to be rotated like that at a 90-degree angle with the upper turntable. Okay, return to main model. Let's see, we will be adding black pegs now. It's all a bit hard to see with black on black. There we go, 6 black pegs. Next, we will be adding a 9 stud long lift arms. So I'm going to go to the MINDSTORMS because I know they're in there. So they are going to be arm 9, rotate them in place a little. Should be in the middle here, in the middle there. And that's our submodel for now. Oh, let's do the lift arms in a separate step from the pegs. Okay. And here we have a nice set of bricks to select with Shift key, create it into a submodel. We're going to call it body joint. And there we go. And now we want the body joint to go there, and it's going to be all connected by axles. What I'm going to do right here is a different order than you would do if you'd really build it, but in the building instructions it'll all work out. So let's go here and select 7 long X, and the X will end up there, like so, and here the outer one, like so. Now we will drag our turntable into place. It'll fit over the axis nicely. Let's check from the side view if everything is aligned right. There is a very small yellow gap there, so let's drag it around a little bit. Oh, maybe it'll work out. This one also has to be dragged. I think that'll work. So in this step we're going to, for builders, they will first put the body joint in place, of course, and then fix everything by pushing axles through. We're also going to be adding 8 long axles. Oh, they're in the MINDSTORMS set for extra stability. There, and oh, it doesn't go in all the way. Let's correct that. Okay, so now we have a back motor and a body joint. And up here we need to have another beam. So let's add that.
Okay, this is it for the first part of this build video. The build took so long, it took me almost 3 or 4 hours, so I have to break up this video in multiple parts, otherwise it's too long for YouTube. I hope to see you in the next video where I discuss actually laying out the building instructions. Bye bye!